it's hard to wrap my brain around, but having lived through that and now have all these years to look back and see that there are good things that come out of tough situations.
A woman remembers her father and reflects on her life without him 25 years after the Beaumont police officer was killed in the line of duty. Good evening, I'm Megan Dillard. Thank you for joining us. Kelly has the night off. The death of a police officer is something that impacts not only his or her family, but the community when it happens and in the years that follow. 25 years ago today, the Beaumont Police Department lost Officer Paul Holsey Jr. This man, Michael Lee Lockhart, shot Holsey in a Beaumont motel room when the officer tried to arrest him for auto theft. Holsey left behind his wife, 2 daughters, his parents, and other relatives. This week, KFDM sat down with one of Paul Holsey's daughters. Ashley Benn is married and has a family of her own. She explained how the death of her father still affects her life more than 2 decades after the shooting.
Small, really personal items that brought back all kind of memories.
Ashley Benn hasn't looked at these keepsakes for a long time.
His jacket.
Reminders of her father, Officer Paul Holsey Jr., shot and killed in the line of duty.
Flag on his casket.
She was 6 years old when he died, 25 years ago today. She has fond, though limited, memories of him.
We were at the mall and he was at the mall, but he was working. And I yelled, "Daddy!" It's just one of those things, if you're undercover, you don't really want to happen.
Holsey was murdered March 22nd, 1988.
This is Michael Lockhart. This is the man that killed him.
Holsey was investigating a car theft when this man opened fire. Holsey died at a Beaumont hospital. Ben says that day was hard, and so were parts of her childhood.
Those first couple of years, I had a lot of fear that came along with that. I just, here Michael Lockhart was locked up, but I was little and I thought, well, what if he told his friends that because he killed our dad and he got locked up because of us, he was going to come after us. That was the kind of things that just in my little imagination I would worry, and so I would lay at bed just wide awake.
Now, 25 years later, this mother of 5 realizes there will never be closure.
To me, when I think of closure, I think if you have answers. And you know why. I don't know why he did that. And I can see some good things like we've talked about that have come from that. But the real whys, I'll probably never know.
But as she reflects on a difficult past, she reaches for the positive and clings to the brief memories of a father she loved dearly.
Always thank God for the good and bad, because you never know which is which. And this is definitely one of those situations where I've been able to see so much good that God has brought to us through such a bad situation.
Officer Holsey's death led to the creation of the 100 Club of Southeast Texas. Volunteers run the organization. It helps families of fallen officers and first responders with financial and emotional support. The group is hosting the Paul Holsey Golf Tournament later this year. Well, Beaumont police were carrying a search warrant when they walked inside a home in the South End where at least 3 young children live. KFDM reporter Justin Hinton explains investigators walked out with drugs, guns, thousands of dollars in cash, and suspects accused of felony crimes. If convicted of the first-degree felony drug charges, the men could face up to life in prison. The weapons charges could get them up to 10 years. Officers tell us they waited until the children were away at school to raid the home. We have new information to report about a chase that led to the arrest of 2 robbery suspects in Groves. Port Arthur police tell KFDM News their department is investigating 30-year-old Ernest Lee Wilson and 25-year-old Otis Sparks to find out if the men were involved in robberies in that community. Both men are from Port Arthur. A judge set their bonds at $1 million each. Law enforcement officers caught the 2 suspects yesterday after they abandoned their car and tried to run away in Groves following the 2 robberies. These are pictures from the scene of the arrest near an apartment complex. Police say the men are linked to at least 2 robberies in Groves Thursday, only about 15 minutes apart. Well, it's the first Friday night at the South Texas State Fair. The gates opened about 30 minutes ago, and the midway won't close until the crowds thin out. Tom Wright joins us live from the fairgrounds with more. Tom? Thanks, Tom. Well, what kind of weather can you expect for the opening weekend at the fair? Greg Bostwick joins us with our first check of the forecast. Greg? Well, weather permitting, the big switch will take place by Sunday on the Purple Heart Memorial Bridge. Crews expect to move all of the traffic to the westbound side with 2 lanes in each direction. The Texas Department of Transportation is building a new $60 million bridge on Interstate 10 over the Neches River. The work will take several years. Tonight at 9, crews will begin shifting the traffic. Drivers can expect alternating lane closures through Sunday night until the big switch is finished. Well, the Beaumont School Board has voted to appeal a court ruling that could dramatically change the makeup of the board, but not without raised voices and strong disagreement among leaders at last night's meeting. That was attorney Michael Getz addressing the board. He filed a lawsuit along with other attorneys on behalf of 3 candidates for the school board. The district told the candidates they could not be on the ballot for the May 11th election. A court in Beaumont ruled they could, and that all 7 seats are up for election. But 3 incumbents, board president Woodrow Reese, Zenobia Bush, and Terry Williams, didn't file. And unless the district wins on appeal, they will not be on the ballot. The election issue has led to a heated debate. There were cheers and boos after several people spoke. One board member, Janice Broussard, walked out before the board met in executive session. The board has called a special meeting for Monday night to talk about the election. Well, 4 restaurants with something in common. What is it? Stay with us and find out in our restaurant report card. Well, this week, our restaurant report card examines the scores in Orange County. Kelly Phillips reports most of the numbers from the health department are on the high end of the scale. And other scores include Gary's Coffee Shop with a 93, Fuzzy's Taco Shop received a 94, the Donut Hole earned a 95, and Bridge City Middle School with a 97. Perfect scores go to West Orange Elementary, Little Cypress Junior High, Bridge City Elementary, and the Orange County Jail. Go to KFDM.com and SETXEats.com for more scores and information. And Greg's here to preview the forecast.
Of course, a big weekend with the fair going on. Have that rain chance tomorrow, but it looks a lot cooler for next week. Well, the details coming up.
Well, Greg's back to update the forecast.
And it looks like, again, we'll have that chance of rain tomorrow. If you're heading to the fair, the primary chance will be late morning tomorrow into the mid to late afternoon. Sunday looks fine, although it'll be pretty cool there. And then Monday and Tuesday, downright chilly. The lows near 40 in the morning. That's kind of nippy for this time of year.
Well, I'm going to make sure to enjoy it right before summer hits. It's probably
Exactly.
the last time we'll see it.
Bottle this up. Wish we could save it.
Well, and a quick reminder to the viewers, stay with us tonight after college basketball. We're hoping to go on at around 11, but we might go on a little bit later, so you can come back and see our smiling faces. We'll see you tonight.